What's up, guys? So, Ultimate Spider-Man #1 comes out on Wednesday, January 10th. I've been so excited to read this for so long. Ever since they announced it, I finally got to read it, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about it. Obviously, very spoiler-free. Just give you a little bit of a preview, a little bit of a slight idea about what this book is about. As always, with all of the books that I get to read early, I'm not going to show you any interiors because I do not want to be the source of any leaks or spoilers or anything like that. But I do want to tell you, again, just a little bit about it. I will kind of be vague because I don't want to spoil anything, but I want to give you an idea about what this book is, what it's about, and just how good it really is. All right, so first things first, we know that this is about a Peter Parker who is a little bit older when he gets his spider powers. We know that he is married to Mary Jane and they have 2 kids. All of that was in the very earliest solicitation, so it's not a spoiler to tell you that. I will tell you that Peter, I think, is about 35 years old because there's a couple of different references to him being 15 years old 20 years ago. So he's around 35 years old now. One thing I will tell you, and this is not a spoiler, but I feel like people want to know this to be relieved, is that Peter's marriage to Mary Jane is very strong. Peter and Mary Jane's relationship with their 2 kids, Richard and May, is very good. So everything about their family, about their relationship with each other, it's very good. There's no strain between Peter and Mary Jane. I know there was some speculation when a couple of preview pages were released without the word balloons. People thought that the way Peter's son Richard was looking at him made it look like that there was a little bit of tension there. But none of that is true. The marriage is good. The parenting is good. Everything about their family relationship is rock solid. So in this story, we see that Peter is working for the Daily Bugle. I think he's a reporter. It's not quite clear, or maybe it is and I just missed it, but I think he's a reporter. But he's definitely at the Daily Bugle, and there are some other familiar supporting characters who we have seen at the Daily Bugle in the 616 universe. They are also at the Bugle in this, including one character that was very surprising to see working at the Bugle, and that is a big story point here. In the middle of the book, we see Peter and MJ and their kids going to a memorial service for those who lost their lives in the big explosion that happened at the end of the Ultimate Universe one-shot, which really should have just been issue 5 of Ultimate Invasion. If you want to see what that was, you do need to read the end, or you need to read that issue because it happens at the end. So it does not happen in this book. The world blames Tony Stark for that attack, but as we saw in that Ultimate Universe issue, that definitely wasn't the case. Now, a little bit after that, something happens that sets 2 of the supporting cast that works there at the Daily Bugle. It sets them on a different path. They make a change in their life, and that gets Peter starting to think that maybe he needs a change too, because at the beginning of the issue, he's kind of sullen a little bit. He kind of wake up, he's kind of moping around the house just a little bit. Not super depressed, but he feels off. He feels like he needs a change. And when these 2 other characters make a change, he feels like now might be the time for him to do so as well. Now, I know I've been super vague so far, but I don't want to spoil anything. You guys know I am super sensitive to spoilers, so I don't want to spoil anything else. So I think I'm going to stop there. But what I will tell you just overall about the book itself is that most of this book is almost just like a day in the life of Peter Parker. It's just him going to work. We see his supporting cast. We see where he works. The memorial service, obviously. But it's all just establishing this world that we are going to be living in this line of books. I will say that about the last 3 or 4 pages of the book is where it starts to get kind of comic booky, and where it does start to tie into what we saw in the Ultimate Invasion miniseries and that Ultimate Universe one-shot. That's when it all starts to tie in together. And it's really, really cool. And it ties in really well. Like, I had a lot of questions at the end of that Ultimate Universe one-shot, and I still have some questions, but this kind of helped me sort of rationalize everything that happened. and it just all fits together really well. So to kind of sum everything up, I will say that this is a very good book. I very much enjoyed this. After one issue, I am already invested in Peter and his family and what he's going to do next, what his supporting cast is going to do next. I am interested in absolutely all of it. I will say that this story is going to require some patience. Now, we've seen Jonathan Hickman's run on Avengers. It was a big, grandiose story that developed over the course of a couple of years at least, right? We saw his work on the X-Men books and how big and grandiose that was and how that developed over the course of a couple of years as well. And I feel like this could be the very same thing for Spider-Man. Like I said, it's very interesting. It's not overly complicated though. Like I am always hesitant to read Jonathan Hickman's books because they tend to go over my head quite a bit. But this doesn't. Like, this is very easy to understand. It's not, there's no data pages or weird little symbols or anything like that. It's very grounded, but I do feel like it may take a while to develop, and like I said, it's going to require some patience. But I think it's interesting enough that that's okay. I am interested to see this world build because this new Earth, this new Ultimate Universe, it's brand new, right? We still have so much to learn from it, and a lot of that learning is going to happen in the pages of this book as well as the other Ultimate books that we're going to get. So if you can just be patient, I think it's going to be definitely worth it. But if you're like me and you're a little bit jaded on everything that's going on with Peter in the 616 universe, how it feels like he's been getting beaten down a bit, this is a very nice breath of fresh air. And because of that, I am willing to be patient with this story and let it develop itself. I think that when it's collected, it's going to be a super great story. So I really enjoyed this. I hope everybody else does too. I am very much looking forward to talking about it with you guys because there are some things in this that I think some people are going to be talking about for a while. It's going to be fun to sort of guess at what's to come. We know a little bit about what's to come. But yeah, just a really good issue. I was a little bit nervous because I had such high hopes for this, and I was worried that it wasn't going to live up to those expectations, but I'm happy to say that it does. This is every bit as good as I wanted it to be, and I think if you can be patient, I think we are in for a real treat with Spider-Man.